Look, GPUs are really hard to find right now. I don't want you to have to sit through another 20-minute in-depth review on a graphics card that you probably can't buy right now. Instead, I'm gonna make this video super short and sweet. I'm gonna tell you only the necessary information that you need to know about the graphics card, and then I'm gonna give it away to one of you guys. Cool? Let's get into it. Big thanks to ASRock for sponsoring this video, and specifically their brand new Z590 Extreme Wi-Fi 6E motherboard. This board supports both 10th and 11th gen Intel CPUs. As the name suggests, the Extreme Wi-Fi motherboard is rocking Wi-Fi 6E technology, which extends to the new 6 GHz spectrum band, providing baller internet speeds. It's also packing a Dragon 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, a PCIe 4.0 M.2 SSD slot, a graphics card holder that connects right on the motherboard itself to prevent GPU sagging, and it's even sporting a flexible integrated I/O shield for those weird cases that don't sometimes fit the I/O shields just quite right. Grab your Z590 Extreme Wi-Fi today by clicking that first link down in the description. Alright, so the number one thing in these reviews that we're all anxious to see are the benchmarks. Hopefully you didn't watch too many other YouTubers today and see those numbers already, but either way, let's quickly jump into these before talking about that giveaway. For today's testing, I'm actually using that Corsair i7200 Vengeance pre-built that I made a video on a couple of weeks ago. Inside that build, there was a Founders Edition RTX 3080, and since Corsair hasn't asked me to send it back yet, I figured this would be an absolute perfect testing platform for a Founders Edition RTX 3080 Ti. There's also an 8-core Intel i7-11700K, 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM clocked at 3200 megahertz, and all of the games are installed on the Corsair MP400 1TB NVMe SSD. Jumping straight into the benchmarks, first I wanted to fire up some canned benchmarks just so we have a controlled environment and can really see the differences in these GPUs, and the first one up here is 3D Mark's Time Spy. The RTX 3080 Ti achieved a score of 16,688, and that's a nice 7.5% increase over the RTX 3080. Next up was Port Royal. This is the ray tracing benchmark from 3D Mark as well, and the 3080 Ti cranked out a score of 12,269, and that's an even nicer 11.3% increase from the 3080. Next up, I wanted to use some authentic gaming benchmarks featuring either DLSS or ray tracing, the big advantages of buying an Nvidia card obviously, and first up I tested Outriders. I've said this before, but DLSS is a no-brainer on this title, as the game not only performs better, but it even looks better in my opinion as well. In 1440p with ultra settings and DLSS turned on to quality, I got an average FPS of 170, and that's a nice 14.9% bump up from the 148 average FPS of the RTX 3080. After that was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I made sure to keep both the map and route that I ran consistent in this one just for a more accurate comparison, and here I saw a little 6% increase over the 3080 with 125 FPS, and that was in 1440p ultra settings with DLSS and RTX turned on. Fortnite followed up after that, and in 1440p Pro settings with DLSS and RTX turned on, I got a little 6% increase as well, but my 1% lows were actually much better with the 3080 Ti compared to the 3080, which is definitely what you love to see. And to wrap up the last benchmark comparisons, we have some games that aren't rocking ray tracing or DLSS. I have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Rainbow Six Siege, and Valorant. I actually first tested these in 1440p, and there was literally no difference at all between the 3080 and 3080 Ti, so I had to bump up the resolution to 4K for all of these titles. So the first one being Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and in 4K ultra settings, the 3080 Ti cranked out 53 FPS, which is a 6% increase over the 50 FPS with the 3080. Next up was Rainbow Six Siege. Got pretty similar results, as in 4K ultra settings I got 242 FPS, which was an 8% increase over the 3080. And finally the last game was Valorant. Not really a GPU demanding game, but I'm still testing it because of how popular it is, and in 4K max settings the 3080 Ti got 222 FPS, which was a modest 4% gain. Alright, so a couple of things to dissect here. First up, I don't recommend anybody upgrade from a 3080 to a 3080 Ti. I don't think anyone would actually do that though. But the second thing is that if you're in the market for a 3080 Ti and that you can actually find one, please make sure you're rocking a 4K monitor as well. The upgrades in 1440p with the games that do have DLSS and ray tracing were pretty decent. I'll take a 6 to 15% increase any day of the week, but for the other titles that don't have those features, you won't even see an upgrade until you bump up that resolution to 4K. You definitely could run into a CPU bottleneck when you're dealing with this high-end hardware as well, so definitely keep that in mind. I do want to also quickly recap the specs for those of you that are only watching this single review of the RTX 3080 Ti. I don't blame you for not watching 10 other YouTubers talk about the same card that you probably can't buy, honestly. And starting with the MSRP, does this even really matter at this point? I don't think anyone really cares what the MSRP on a graphics card is these days. It's probably just an arbitrary number at this point. Only time will tell what the true value of the RTX 3080 Ti is gonna be, but if I was to guess right now, I'm still gonna guess that it's gonna be anywhere between $1,200 and $1,500. The reason why I say that is because after doing my own testing, there is a hash rate limiter on this card. NVIDIA confirmed this to me as well, but for my testing with NiceHash, it's honestly not limiting it that much. With the 3080, I was able to mine Ethereum at around 85 megahash per second, which equates to a little over 6 USD per day at the time of making this video. With the 3080 Ti that's limited to 50%, that dropped down to 56 megahash per second, but that's still over $4 per day. On one hand, I kind of like the fact that us gamers have the ability to still do a little mining on the side when we aren't using our gaming PCs and get a little money back, but on the other hand, this is still a very capable cryptocurrency miner, so I don't think this really changes anything for those big dog mining farms. If GPUs were completely in stock, this would have a bigger effect. The 3080 Ti wouldn't be the most optimized card for miners to buy, so gamers could end up buying more of them, but because miners are practically buying whatever GPUs they can find right now, they're still going to be all over this slightly unoptimized 3080 Ti. I'm also just not a fan of the hash rate limiter feature at all. In my opinion, I'm pretty confident that this technical block or any technical block like that is eventually going to get hacked, but even if I'm wrong and it never gets hacked, this graphics card is still making over $4 per day, so why wouldn't miners want to buy this thing? Moving on past the mining performance though, the 12 gigabytes of GDDR6X upgrade is certainly an appreciated one. This is 2 gigabytes more than the 3080 and 1 gigabyte more than the 2080 Ti from last generation. There's also 10,240 CUDA cores, which is over double what the 2080 Ti had, and in terms of aesthetics, the 3080 and 3080 Ti cards look literally the exact same. I couldn't spot a single physical difference in these cards other than the model name printed up at the top, and this is obviously up to you on whether or not you like this Founders Edition design. You definitely got to give NVIDIA credit to the other suite of features that this card is packing though. If you can get a hold of this, not only do you get to enjoy the DLSS and ray tracing like we tested, but there's also NVIDIA Reflex, NVIDIA Broadcast, and of course the super efficient encoder, which are all great for us streamers and gamers. Now I do want to keep this video short and sweet. All of the information I just gave you is honestly all I think that you really need to know. In a nutshell, it's a little bit better than the 3080 and it's going to be almost impossible to buy. That's it. That does mean it's time for the giveaway. I would love to contribute to one of you guys that have been desperately trying to get a graphics card, and I'm just gonna make this giveaway plain and simple like I always do. When I launched this video here on YouTube, I posted a picture of me holding the RTX 3080 Ti on my Instagram, @ZachsTechTurf by the way, and all you gotta do is go follow me over there, like that post, and comment what game you would test first with the RTX 3080 Ti if you were the winner. I'll post the results of the giveaway on Instagram as well, so make sure you're looking out for that post, and for those of you that are interested in the reason why I'm giving this card away, it's honestly because I really just don't need it. My main ITX PC at home that I use for video editing and gaming in 1440p is already rocking a 3070. My main PC here in the studio that I really just use for video editing right now has an RTX 3080, and my streaming PC that I use for Thirsty Thursday live streams has a 2080 Ti, which is definitely overkill. I stream over on twitch.tv/ZachsTechTurf by the way. It would be really fun and nerdy to do a small upgrade from my 3070 to 3080 Ti, or even from my 3080 to the 3080 Ti, but in all reality, I just don't need those few extra frames per second, so I think it would be much more beneficial to give it away to one of you guys that hopefully needs it a lot more than I do. The one other rule here is that I will not be giving away this card to an obviously fake account. If your account isn't following anyone but me and you literally don't have anything else in your profile, I'm just not going to send you the graphics card. Please have some sort of proof that you're a gamer and PC builder somewhere in your photos. If you're not already on Instagram and you're creating an account just for this giveaway, please upload some new photos of you either building a PC, using your PC, or doing some gaming or something. I'm just not going to send this card to somebody that doesn't look legit. Hopefully everyone follows those rules, and also big thank you to NVIDIA for sending this card out so I could review it on day one and also do this giveaway. If you're looking to see a much more affordable graphics card review, then feel free to click the video that's on the screen now. I'm not kidding, you can actually buy that graphics card today, but either way, I hope you enjoyed this video, and good luck on the giveaway.